Recently, I read some research that tells us that 90% of children who grow up in evangelical homes make a decision to receive Christ into their heart. And I think most of us expect those numbers. Of that 90%, only 22% are following Jesus when they're 35. And I think most of us are shocked by that number. I know I am. Think about it. We're losing 2/3 of those who make a decision for Christ. There's something wrong. Something seriously wrong. What's wrong is the gospel we're preaching. What's wrong is the method we are using to coax and persuade our youth to think they are in. They've made the decision. A gospel that becomes obsessed with making decisions rather than disciples aborts the design of the gospel of Jesus. Here's how I see it. The so-called gospel at work in many of our churches today is actually deconstructing the church into a society of the saved instead of constructing a society that follows Jesus to the cross. To solve this problem, some pastors think that what we need to do is ramp up our emphasis on sin. Others think we need to increase the emphasis on the wrath of God and the scorching fires of an eternal hell. Yet others want to refocus everything on grace and justification by faith. But these aren't going to solve our problem, because if you tweak a weak gospel, you still have a weak gospel. Because what we think is the gospel is not the original gospel. So we need to start all over again. We need to ask, what was the original gospel? Or, what was the apostolic gospel? Or even more, what was the gospel Jesus preached? We need to be willing to let the Bible say what the Bible says and not make the Bible say what we want it to say. Maybe one reason why young evangelicals are walking away from the church today is because the gospel many hear in churches is not the gospel Jesus preached, and they want Jesus' gospel. So let's go back to the Bible together, and let's see what Jesus and Peter and Paul meant when they said gospel. What we will find will require a massive change. What we need to recover is the original good news. And that good news is what I call the King Jesus gospel.